In the world of aviation, being fancy and having more bells and whistles than your competition doesn't actually mean that you'll be more successful. A great example of this is the battle between the L-1011 TriStar and the McDonnell Douglas DC-10. Despite the L-1011 being more technologically advanced and a safer aircraft by design than the McDonnell Douglas DC-10, it still managed to lose out in the trijet war against the DC-10. The DC-10 managing to find more homes across the world and even serving in passenger service much longer than the L-1011 TriStar. In today's video, we'll be learning about the lost potential of the L-1011 TriStar and how this aircraft that was destined to become a queen of the skies never got past princess status. The problem for the L-1011 TriStar is the fact that it was playing catch-up with the DC-10 from the very beginning, because the L-1011 TriStar was experiencing bad delays because of issues with its engine provider, Rolls-Royce. With the McDonnell Douglas DC-10 entering service with American Airlines in August 1971, meanwhile, the L-1011 TriStar didn't manage to get into service until April of 1972. By that point, the DC-10 had already conquered the trijet market. However, things did not get better for the L-1011 TriStar, because it turned out that the McDonnell Douglas DC-10 actually had a longer range than the L-1011, and this is another factor that made the DC-10 more attractive for airlines around the world. Lockheed wasn't ready to give up though, as later on in the decade they would snap back and create a longer range variant of the L-1011 TriStar. Also around this time, McDonnell Douglas, the builder of the DC-10, was having a lot of issues, as their DC-10 aircraft had been experiencing a lot of bad crashes around this time. So not only did the L-1011 TriStar now have a longer range variant, but it also was not having the dangerous crashes that the DC-10 was having. However, despite the terrible safety rating of the DC-10 and the L-1011 TriStar now having a new variant that had longer range, all of these things would not be enough for the TriStar to be able to take the crown and become the queen of the trijets. One amazing thing that the L-1011 TriStar could do that the McDonnell Douglas DC-10 could not is land by itself, because the L-1011 TriStar had a very advanced all-weather autopilot system, which allowed the aircraft to be able to land on its own. Despite this amazing technology though, this would not be enough to help the L-1011 TriStar get picked by more airlines. Despite the DC-10 being picked by more airlines and finding more homes across the world, the L-1011 TriStar still managed to land with some very successful carriers, like Delta and TWA. In the end, as amazing as the L-1011 TriStar was, it was never able to surpass the success of the McDonnell Douglas DC-10. Finally bowing out of commercial passenger service and flying off into the sunset in 2001, with the McDonnell Douglas DC-10, funny enough, actually outliving the L-1011 TriStar, being retired from commercial passenger service in 2014. Even in longevity, the DC-10 still managed a way to beat the L-1011. The L-1011 TriStar is a great example of a what if. What if the L-1011 TriStar didn't experience the issues with its Rolls-Royce engines and actually beat the DC-10 into the market? What if Lockheed had originally designed the L-1011 TriStar to have a more competitive long range compared to the DC-10? What if the L-1011 TriStar had become the most successful trijet ever made?